Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sam Odeyemi, and welcome to another edition of Points in the Paint brought to you by Four Frequency Sake Podcast Network. I hope you guys like my new intro video. Shout out to my overhead guys for setting that up for me. I really appreciate that. Uh, here, so this is Points in the Paint. We talk all things NBA basketball as it relates to NBA basketball. You're currently in the middle of the NBA playoffs. We are in the middle of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. And we've been coming to you every week now, giving you that content as it relates to NBA playoffs. So I guess I could just jump in and talk about the two matchups that we have going on right now. And by this time next week, we should be getting ready for the finals. I believe the finals kick off June 7th or 2nd. I want to say 7th. It's usually a Thursday where it kicks off. But yeah, so when I last touched base with you guys, we were looking at the remaining teams left. I believe we were literally getting ready to get to the finals anyways. So the Celtics ended up advancing. They beat Cleveland, and Indiana obviously beat New York. So the Celtics, Indiana are in the Eastern Conference Finals. That series is currently 3-0 Boston. Game 4 is tonight. Tyrese Halliburton will not be playing in that game. It's on a hamstring injury. So it's really looking like the Boston Celtics are going to wrap this series up and go on to represent the Eastern NBA Finals. Indiana had a tough break in game 3. They were up 18 and they ended up bobbling that lead and losing that series. And I think that was definitely a must win game for them. They've been undefeated at home all year up until that point. And unfortunately, they came short in that game versus Boston. It's kind of hard to watch down the end. But here we are. So Indiana is down 3-0 to Boston. Game 4 is tonight. Looking at the spread right now, Boston's an 8-point favorite. I do think Boston closes this series out. Whether Indiana wins a game tonight and extends it to 5, that's totally possible. But I do have Boston winning the series, especially with Halliburton being hobbled. I do not see Indiana making a comeback. And I know a couple of years ago, once last year actually, Boston was down 3-0 to Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they rallied to force a Game 7, but they lost in that Game 7. That's not happening this year. It's Boston has this series wrapped up in the bag. I said from a jump that Boston would probably win this series. Indiana will make it interesting, and they did. If you look at that Game 1 game versus Indy, and they had that game and all those turnovers, this would be a whole completely different series if Indiana was able to win that one game on the road. But they did it, and sports is a game of inches. And here we are. So again, Boston, Indiana, they kick off tonight at 7. I will be tuning into that after this show. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure Boston's going to advance to the finals, whether they win it tonight or they win a Game 5 back in Boston. Boston, this is Boston's series to lose. Little quick side note, just read today that Hall of Famer Bill Walton passed away from cancer. He was 71 years old. So we're going to send our condolences to the Walton family. If you don't know who Bill Walton was, NBA commentator, former NBA player, two-time NBA champ at UCLA, as well, just a basketball legend. You probably heard him providing commentary on NBA games. I'm not sure if he did collegiate or not. Looking at some of his stats and his accolades, he was NBA MVP in 1977-78 season, and he's a member of the league's 50th and 75th anniversary teams. And again, he was a two-time champion at UCLA, and he was a three-time College National Player of the Year at UCLA under the iconic coach John Wooden. His son, Luke Walton, played in the NBA briefly for the Lakers, won 2 championships. Is also coached Sacramento, assistant coach for Golden State, and he coached the Lakers. But yeah, again, we want to send our condolences to the Walton family. Just another reminder that life is short, life is fickle. So while you're here on this earth, to make sure you do everything you can to enjoy yourself. and all your accomplishments. Chase all your dreams, chase all your goals, and don't let anything deter you from that because life is short. As I've gotten older, I realize that every morning I give my gratitude and my thanks for being open because life is fickle. Okay. All right. So now we want to jump back to the Western Conference Finals. In the Western Conference Finals, we have the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that series is also 3-0 Dallas. Dallas won a game three yesterday at home versus Minnesota. Game four is tomorrow in Dallas. Again, Dallas is winning 3-0. Luka and Kyrie have been really special. Uh, we even got some people talking about them being one of the greatest backcourt duos of all time. Some analysts have them ranked as a top five. They are a great pairing. Last year, it didn't seem that way when I watched them play. I think that last year was their first year playing together. I think Kyrie got traded. I can't remember if he got traded last year. He got traded to Brooklyn. Yeah, he got traded last year. Same thing with KD. And so it kind of took some time for Kyrie and Luka to kind of adjust playing with each other, which should be expected with two great players. It's two ball dominant guys. But now you just see it now. Dallas has two great closers in Luka and Kyrie, and they're just special to watch. You know, you see Luka hit that 1-3. I want to say it was game two versus Gobert to win the game, pretty much a game winning three. And then Kyrie in game one with the 40 points. Doing this thing, and then in game three yesterday, you know, they both kind of just taking turns hitting big shot after big shot after big shot. Dallas's role players have also showed up. Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr. Those guys have showed up and made plays. And you know, when you're playing with two great players like Luka and Kyrie, they make everything easy for you. So be in your spot, make the open shots because they're getting good open looks because all the attention that Kyrie and Luka gets, and they're cashing in on them. Derek Jones Jr. is doing this thing. PJ Washington is hitting shots. Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively are consistent lob threats going towards the rim. Derek Lively is gotten as a rookie, but it's playing better and better. And I just read how Tyson Chandler is on the Dallas Mavericks coaching staff, and they're both similar players. So he's got that veteran leadership and presence to rely on. And obviously, Tyson Chandler won the championship with the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. So I do think that's Dallas series to win as well. Anthony Edwards from Minnesota is doing this thing. He's being aggressive. Karl-Anthony Towns is not shooting the ball well. He just hasn't looked right since he came back from that knee injury. And sometimes when I watch him play, it looks like he's really laboring on one leg, just kind of overcompensating for the knee injury that he had. I just think Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's probably going to lose this series. They're down 3-0. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 lead to win the series. But it's not a wash season for Minnesota. They definitely turned some heads this season, and I believe they'll be right back in the thick of it the following season. Anthony Edwards continues to get better. Rudy Gobert is still going to be a defensive anchor. Karl-Anthony Towns is still going to do what he does. Just want to see him more healthier during this time in the run. The role players from Minnesota have been good too. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid as well, Kyle Anderson, Mike Conley Jr. Mike Conley is getting up there in age. We're point guard, and he's even openly said how he doesn't have a lot of time left to play in this league. I want to say Mike Conley is 37. Will be 37, 36 or 37 at this point in this year. So Minnesota is definitely going to need to look to find a replacement point guard for them moving forward. That's something to kind of keep an eye on as this series winds down. So it might be too early to kind of have my finals prediction, but I'm definitely thinking it's going to be Dallas and Boston in the finals, which would be pretty sweet. Because if you look at it, you got the dynamic forward duo for Boston with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Then you have a dynamic guards for Dallas with Kyrie and Luka. So if that is the finals, I think that's going to be a great series to watch. And if Porzingis comes back, obviously Porzingis played for Boston and Dallas, so he's got those ties there. Just a lot of different things to look out for. So yeah, I think it will end up being Dallas and Boston in the finals. I plan to cover that, and hopefully everything's wrapped up this week. I mean, I can cover that for you guys next week, kind of do a little finals preview and kind of look at matchups to look forward to. But besides that, that's really all the news out there. I did mention that Tyrese Halliburton has that hamstring injury, so he's out for Game 4. Derek Lively for Dallas injured his neck. He took a knee to the back of the head from Karl-Anthony Towns yesterday. He's questionable, or Lively is doubtful for Game 4. And then Max Kleber, who has been out since the first round series versus the Clippers, has been upgraded to questionable. And I was actually looking up Kleber yesterday to see how, because he's been out for about a month now with that sprained AC joint in his right shoulder. I want to say it was a 3rd-degree sprain. And they were even saying how he might be out for the whole playoff series. But if he's able to come back for this series, I think that'll be a big boost for Dallas. Kleber is 6'10". He can hit threes. He plays defense, so he's another big. Because without Lively, it was just Dwight Powell as the backup big behind Daniel Gafford. And Daniel Gafford is playing some really good basketball right now. And I know my Chicago Bulls drafted him, and he was good for us, and we traded him, which I regret to this day because he was a good player. But I can't remember why we traded. I think we traded him to get rid of Jabari Parker, if I remember, to Washington. But yeah, Gafford's doing this thing for Dallas, so shout out to him. And yeah, that's where we're at now. So if Dallas is able to get Kleber back, and I'm kind of just reading this now, that'd be a big boost for them. And if not, they're going to win this series. They still have a week before the finals. And I'm actually going to look up when Game 1 of the finals is supposed to kick off, because I believe they have the date already scheduled. I want to say it's June. Dallas. Let's see if it has it on there. Yeah, so it looks like the finals, I was off by a day, is scheduled for Thursday, June 6th. It's always a Thursday, and then Game 2 was always Sunday. It used to be Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday was the schedule for the finals, and that hasn't changed. So the NBA Finals is scheduled for next Thursday, June 6th, and that's probably what we'll be looking at. So if Cleveland doesn't come back today, he's still got another over a week to come back to get it to rest up and make a return to the finals. So yeah, so looks like he'll get some added rest. We'll see what happens there. As always, I'm Sam Odiemi, and feel free to tweet me below. My handle of Mark0220. And I always want to mention this: if basketball is not your sport of choice, check out our other sports and other podcast networks that we have here. We covered the WNBA, which has been really exciting. I watched the game yesterday with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces. But WNBA has some excitement to it, and I can't tell you the last time I've ever watched a WNBA game, much less been excited by a WNBA game. But these new crop of players that are in there now, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin, some of the other rookies, Leah Boston, they're really bringing the excitement back to the WNBA. So that's good to watch. We have NASCAR, wrestling, baseball. Baseball's in full swing now. Football will be gearing up here in a few months. But we cover all sports. So it's NASCAR as well. So check out our network and check out all the content that we're giving you guys. It's not maybe what you want to hear, but it might be what you need to hear. So again, I'm Sam Odiemi. Welcome for joining me for another edition of Points in the Paint. I will be back next Monday to touch base on these series, these final series, and then we can kind of preview the NBA Finals. But if you don't have anything else, I'm out. I'm gonna go watch some of this Indiana game. Peace.